I find it interesting. It's the end of October, beginning of November, and I have players who have been here at the club since I took over that still need some sort of language course. Now, Switzerland is interesting because you can choose to send them to take either a German course or an Italian course. Or apparently, in these players' instances, they know German, maybe both. So he's got basic German, he's got basic Italian, now he's going for Italian too. Since the Bodo Glimt game, things have been going okay. No draws, other than one against Servette early in the season. It's either been wins or losses, and that is kind of frustrating. After losing to Bodo Glimt, we beat Stade Lausanne 2-1 thanks to goals by Jovanovic and Viega. St. Gallen beat us 2-1 thanks to a Fabian Fry own goal, and that's after Comas was sent off in the 67th minute for a pretty much straight red. We beat Verdun. I'm totally mispronouncing that, thanks to a Dubasin goal in the 79th minute. Other than that, it was a snoozer of a game. We beat Maribor 5-4. This was a fun game to watch. They really almost pulled it out at the end. It was, let me pull this up here. We scored in the 6th minute, the 23rd minute, and the 38th minute, and then right at the end of the half, and it was 4-0 going into half. They scored in the 53rd minute. We got a goal in the 67th minute, so it was 5-1. They got a goal in the 82nd minute, a goal in the 88th minute, a goal in the 91st minute. Something tells me if there was like 6 more minutes in this game, they would have equalized. They had more shots, their XG was higher, they had more clear-cut chances, they had a higher possession rate, they were better passing, they were better tackling, they were better heading, they were just a better overall team. And I think the fact that it was our quality in the midfield that saw us through. I switched the formation up a little bit. We played a 4-2-4 because I told Barry and Fink I would get them some more playing time. And of course, I didn't put Fink on the field because I'm like that sometimes. But it was a good game, and then we turned around and gave it away to Grasshopper Zurich. Jovanovic had a brace of goals in the first 39 minutes. Hoxa got a goal in the 4th minute, so we came back from there, 2-1 at the half, and then William Ngenge, William got 2 goals in the 77th and 80th minute to put them across. Jovanovic missed a penalty kick. It was a real letdown, especially 3 days after a pretty good Maribor win. And then against Young Boys, we beat them 3-0 thanks to goals by Keimlein, Zaka, and Gato in the 91st minute. As it stands, we are currently in 3rd place on 22 points. We have a game in hand. Jovanovic and Gato lead us with 11 goals. Jovanovic has the highest rating. Fry has the most assists. Jovanovic and Gato each have 3 Player of the Match awards. Comas has the 3 yellow cards and the 1 red card, and Zaka has the 1 red card because yellow cards are for losers. So today we are going to play Rakow away in the Conference League, and we'll take a look at the Conference League standings after this. Well, actually, we can take a look at them now. Our group, for the moment, we are currently in 2nd place. If we beat Rakow, we kind of hold on to that. We're only in 2nd place right now by dint of our goal differential. Any surprises here so far? No, this was kind of a tough group. But other than that, no real surprises. Jovanovic is coming off an injury. He is not match fit, so he is going to be on the bench. The question is, do we start Barry or Fink? I'm leaning towards Barry because he's a target forward, whereas Fink likes to be a poacher. And other than that, I think we need to bring on Barisic for Viega. And this is what we're going to go with. We're going to have Hitz in goal, Schmidt, Barisic, Comas, and Rueg as the defensive back four. Keimlein is the ball-winning midfielder behind Demir and Zaka. Dubas and Gaudo at the advanced mids, and Barry up top as the strikers. Some of the stuff's been carrying over from other games. Not a huge fan of that. Start with a high press to start. And Zaka is motivated. He is not aggressive. It's not a bad park. What's the weather like? It's not going to tell me, is it? Drizzle, of course. Tudor on the throw-in for Rakow. We are away, so we switch this. Tudor, front of the box, and Hertz got pulled all the way over. Sonny scores a wide-open goal. I'm not even sure I could miss something like that. It's been about 40 years since I've been on a soccer pitch competitively. Oh, it went right off Hits. It went right off Hits, didn't it? That or the pole, and he couldn't recover. And we've ended up with more shots, but no highlights. Oh, here we go. Rueg to Zaka. Zaka back to Comas. Kindly. Schmidt. He's got space. Gives it to Dubasin. Dubasin one-on-one. He puts it far side past Kovacevic. A very nice goal. And a very nice pass by Schmidt, splitting the two defenders, letting Dubasin run up on the ball. He just toes it past the outstretched hand of Kovacevic. That was really nice. Pretty full stadium, too. He's taking a slight injury. Okay. And potential lower leg. Yeah, we should probably get him off. Our passing's been good. Keep it up. Let's go with tactics. We can bring on Fade for Dubasin. Anyone else need to come off just yet? No, we need to keep an eye on Gauto, though. And Demir. And Schmidt. Okay. More shots. Still more on target. And a little bit more. Gauto. Corner kick. Barry. Oh, just wide left. And it's just a little bit past 60 minutes. I think we're going to have to make a couple of subs here. Cade can play the right, so he's going to move over there. Gauto is going to come off. Malone is going to come on. Demir is going to come off. We're going to bring on Viega. What does Viega like to do in the midfield? He's a ball-winning, box-winning central mid. What does Zaka like to do? Ball-winning defensive. Okay, he likes to be a ball-winning central midfielder. Back. So what we've done is we put Viega as a central mid on automatic and left Keimland as a ball-winning midfielder on support. Now, if we draw, that's good for us because our goal differential will still keep us higher. It just also means we have the ability to throw the game, throw the group. Geez, third time's a charm, Jellicoe. Throw the group away near the end. Since their first two initial shots and 2 on target, they have not had anything else the entire game. Schmidt with the corner kick. Swinger, knocked back. Schmidt. Gets it to Viega. Viega, back to Schmidt. Schmidt takes a shot, bounces to Cade, and he puts it away for the 2-1 goal. A little bit of luck. I will take it. Schmidt to Viega. Back to Schmidt, who tries crossing it in. No, he tried taking a shot. It bounced off the Rakow player and went right to Cade. That's some bad luck for Rakow. Good luck for us, you know. And frankly, if it happened to me, I'd feel a little bit bad that it happened. I'd be cursing the FM gods is what I'd be doing. A 2-1 win, thanks to a little help. Admittedly. To be honest, I don't know what I'm saying down the press conferences. I just learned a while back. You hit the second one over from the left, everything will be fine. I have long maintained... Hey, we got 500,000. I have long maintained that if SI want to screw up everyone's save, all they have to do is switch which box the appropriate response shows up in. I mentioned that since FM18 and they haven't taken me up on it. Now watch with FM19 now watch with FM25 they will. So we've added another couple of recruitment focuses. We've added a Polish, Russian, Ukraine focusing on the 16 through 19-year-olds, a Netherlands, Belgium focusing on the 16 through 19-year-olds, and a German, Australian, Swiss one focusing on the local ones. One of the things you have to pay attention to is the registration rules of your league. And I know I've mentioned this before, but we're going to take a look at them again here. We can only have 5 non-EU players in the playing 11. No trialists can be played at any time. And then down here, work permit rules. Foreign players. Players with good potential have played in international fixtures. Now, I signed a guy from Paraguay who didn't qualify. So when he comes in January, he still might not qualify. I mentioned this in the last video. This is one of those situations where it's the beginning of October. He doesn't qualify. If he gets international appearances or somehow the game decides he's a good player between when he shows up in January, I can reapply for a work permit then. If it's accepted, I can start playing him in the local games in Switzerland. If not, he'll go out on loan. Nations Free is EU, all European Free Trade Association nations, all European Union nations, and Ukraine. So that is essentially everyone over here, some of the Caribbean nations, most of the Turkic nations, all of the Scandinavian nations, nothing in South America. So that means all of the South American youngsters I've been looking at will count towards that limitation, which means when you start looking at your recruitment focus or your shortlist, and I'm just going to go to my default shortlist because I put everybody on the default shortlist, and then I also put them on their regional shortlist. When you start looking at players from the same area, such as Rayan and Lucas Loss, because they're both from Brazil, you really have to make a judgment call. Which one of them is better? Which one of them will do more for us in the long run? Which one is likely to help the club in terms of playing really well and potentially being moved on for a decent amount of money? So right now, if I'm looking for a defensive center back, I'm looking between Lucas Loss and João Della Corte. I don't know, can I compare the two? Lucas Loss, history, field stats, comparison. Since I looked at Lucas Loss, if I go back to Della Corte, will it let me compare to him? Yes, it will. That's how you do this. And they're both fairly equal. Lucas Loss, or João Della Corte, is a better attacker, and he's a bit more versatile. In this case, I would be leaning towards João Della Corte. But the kicker is, he's 17 years old, he's 16 years old, he's injured, he's out 7 weeks to 3 months for a torn hamstring. Holy cow. That's a big negative right there. 5'10", best played as defensive midfielder. Loss is better technically, Corte is better mentally, and it's Loss on the physicals. And if it weren't for the hamstring, I might be going Loss. But what we're going to do is pay attention to him and see whether or not these have dropped or fallen. Only 6'2", same weight. The other question is, Loss doesn't want to come here because I looked at signing him. Della Corte, I have not looked at signing him, but he's also slightly less expensive. And this is where you start getting into looking at other things, defensive numbers, things like that. You can start bringing in attributes. You can also look at work permit chances. João Della Corte would probably fail. Lucas Loss would probably fail. You go to the next guy. Who would be the next guy defensively? That would be this guy all the way down here, who's a D-rated player. Well, no, Thiago Higuera, who would get a work permit because he has under 22 youth appearances. 17 years old, Uruguayan, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Not too shabby. Wow, not too shabby at all. For a 17-year-old, definite potential, definitely something to keep an eye on. And then the reason we have the Germany, Austria, Swiss one is to see if we can find Swiss locals and bring them over to our club. And then you also find some other good youngsters. Elion Fernandez Neto at Liefering. Liefering is one of the best clubs in all of Europe for finding young players. He's not capped in goal in German, contracted Red Bull Salzburg. He's on loan at Liefering, I think. I'm not quite sure how this works. I can't remember. Well, you know what? We can check. You used to be able to check affiliates. But the fact you can say view FC Liefering means Liefering is an affiliate of theirs. So they can directly assign players to them. And Liefering is essentially their feeder club. I mean, Red Bull Salzburg is already good, but 2019, that's way better than what I have. And a little bit in the red. I would probably spend a little more time looking at Elion. He's what was he? Okay, so we can compare him to Higuera. And Neto is heads and tails better, at least this way. 500,000 per annum. He's also a little bit older, but he's much better technically. He's much better mentally. Physically, he's got more stamina and strength. And I don't remember what it takes for Swiss. I don't know what it is for Swiss citizenship. I also remember a rule about, is that the ECL? That might be the ECL. That might be the conference. Let me check here. Maximum 8 players trained in the same nation for 3 years between 15th and 21st birthdays. So, if I want to jump on Nieto, I do I like Karma? He could be a good player. Ball-winning midfielder on defense. Ball-winning midfielder Carolero. If we compare him to... Oh, they're both really... Well, Kamara's just that much better. He's not as expensive. He's from Guyana. Borussia Dortmund's also a decent club with some good facilities. Well, that kind of settles it right there for me. Kamara is injury prone. Name's coming at that. So you know what? I gotta check something here real quick. Got 2.1 in the bank, and I believe 1.4 coming out in future transfers. Lucas Rodriguez coming in on a free? That doesn't seem right. I seem to remember something down at the bottom. Okay, we're gonna assume it's a free. I'm going to assume I have 1.4 million left, and we can fudge that around if we need to. Fernandez Neto. Ask him about availability. Wouldn't be interested. Only just joined his new club. Okay. Well, that settles that. What would Kamara be? Wouldn't be interested in joining, but he's interested in a loan. Valentin Solsbacher. Yeah, I can already tell he's not as good as Neto. Yeah, so this is what you end up doing. When you start winnowing down the list, you start looking for positional replacements. You also need to look at your team's and country's registration rules and things like that. You also have to take into account European competitions. You get a little bit more wiggle room in the European competitions, but not a lot. I think what we are going to do is come back for... I'm going to skip a lot of games. We're going to skip November. We're going to come back for Maribor. And then the next episode after that is going to be somewhere in here, depending on what happens. Maribor, we're going to play Rakow and Bodo Glimt. The Maribor game will probably be a decider as to where we finish. January transfer window, players coming in, players coming out, getting a lot more scouting done because a lot of the overseas leagues are going to end here. Looking at what quality free agents might be available. Even if you bring him in on loan and put him on the B squad, and well, in our case, we have a U21, a U19, a U18. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then get halfway through the season again and then go here. I like the seasons to run about 8 to 10 episodes. Usually 1 or 2 games an episode, depending on what else we talk about. We already played the game here, but this, because of the save of the scouting involved and things like that, I'm going to hit that a lot more. We're going to take a look at a lot more players, try and figure out where they fit in. One of the other things we're going to do is also take a look at the youth training and pull out the old spreadsheet for that, get that updated, and then possibly modify it for scouting purposes as well. There's also, I saw Luzzo's video with Squirrel Plays on using Python to determine some things. I might use that as well. We shall see. It depends on how much time and energy I want to invest in that. Part of me is waiting for his app to become available, so you make things a little bit easier for yourself. And we may just do that starting in January. But until then, a good win for us. A lucky win for us. Any win is good. It's like landing an aircraft. Any aircraft you can walk away from after landing is a good landing. Any win you can walk away from is a good win. That's my firm philosophy on it. It could possibly change in the near future depending on what side of that equation I'm on. But we beat a very good Rakow team thanks to a couple of lucky bounces. I will be the first person to admit that. Maybe not loudly, but I will be the first person to admit that. Coming up on the end of the year, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, we'll take a look at some of the South American possibilities, see who might be available on a free. I need to figure out what's going on with these affiliates. That's what I need to do, because what I would like to do is sign up a couple more affiliates, even if we're paying them money, so I can send some of my players off to affiliates that I trust to get them playing time. Granted, I've got a lot of players out on loan right now, but not nearly as much as I want. All the guys on orange are the ones who are out on loan. And there used to be a way to mark this. I don't remember what it is. I shall have to search that out as well. I may be thinking of something else completely different. It's entirely possible. It's been one of those days. So I think we are going to end this here. If you have liked what you've seen and heard, please will subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I will answer them as fast as I can. If you have an answer to the affiliate question I asked, let me know down below too. Otherwise, I'm going to head to the forums and the Discords. I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually. Dawn will break over Marblehead, the angels will sing, and it will all make sense. My name's FM24. I thank you very much for watching.